my name is Anne and welcome to my first video on YouTube. This channel will be dedicated to books, so I thought that it was a good idea to start with the Booktube Newbie Tag so that I can introduce myself and my channel. This tag has been around for a while. It consists on 10 questions, so let's jump right in. Question number 1. Why did you start this channel? Well, there are many reasons why. The first and most obvious one is that I love reading. And then the second answer would be that I wanted to keep track of my reading, of the books that I've read, and especially the books that I've loved. And I really enjoy this format. I haven't tried it on myself before, but I really like it when other people do it. So that's another reason why I want to keep like a record of my reading. Then another one would be that I love Booktube. I have been watching Booktube for the past 2 years and really loving it, and I wanted to become a more active part in the community. You can be very active by commenting and contacting with creators, but I've always wanted to create myself in the back of my mind, even if I just realized it maybe. And the last reason would be to have conversations about books, to meet people that I can talk to about books. I think that readers are really cool, so I'm looking forward to all the conversations that we'll have around books. Question number 2. What are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? This is the hardest question for me to answer. I would say that I'm still trying to figure it out. At the moment, what makes this channel unique is me. I think that every channel is unique because we all have our own thoughts and feelings, and I am new to video making and video editing, so I do hope that my videos will become more fun and unique as I grow, as I learn. Question number 3. What are you most excited for about this new channel? Well, I'm excited about everything that I've mentioned before, about keeping track of my reading, talking about my favorite books, talking to other readers, being a part of Booktube, all of that, and even video editing. Even if I have no experience with it, I still think that it will be fun. So I think that this will become a very fun hobby for me, and that's why I'm excited about every little aspect of it. Question number 4. Why do you love reading? It depends on what I'm reading. So if I'm reading non-fiction, I'm probably reading to learn something new, to expand my knowledge on a particular topic, or to grow as a person. And if I'm reading fiction, I'm reading for the experience, to have fun, because it is very enjoyable to me and I can feel all the feelings when reading, and it never feels like a waste of time. So there are many reasons why. Question number 5. What book or series got you into reading? I want to mention a series and a book. So the first series that I have a memory of reading is Harry Potter. I loved those books so much. I was the perfect age when they came out. I read them as they came out, and I watched all of the movies and I loved them so much. And it will always hold a special place in my heart, even though nowadays I do not support the author and I don't own any of the books. And the book that I want to mention is Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I was 14 when I first read it. I was on vacation with my parents, and my mom had this book that she had borrowed from my uncle, and one day I decided to pick it up, and I loved it so much. It made me so emotional, and I cried, and I thought, this is it. I found my favorite book. And nowadays it's not my favorite book of all time, but that experience turned me into a book lover. That might have been the most important reading experience of my life. Question number 6. What questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Well, I can think of 2 questions. One would be, Is there anything that you would have done differently when you started? And the other one would be if there's anything that I should know that maybe I haven't heard of, any advice that you may have. Yeah, those are the questions that come to mind. Question number 7. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? At the moment, I can think of one thing, which is what I'm doing at the moment, talking to a camera. I'm not used to it, I'm new to this, so it feels awkward, and I know that I don't look as natural as I normally do, and words don't come out as easily as they usually do. So I think that talking to a camera, that's number 1. And then maybe number 2, the editing aspect of it, the technical issues, I would say. I'm sure that that will change with time, and maybe some other things will come, bigger challenges, but at the moment it's just the basics. Question number 8. When did you start reading? So I think I've always read. I have no memory of not reading, and it's always been enjoyable to me. It never felt like a chore, but I don't really have any memories of me reading when I was a child. I knew that I did, but I'm pretty sure that it was occasionally and not as often as I do nowadays. The past 2 years have been my best reading years for sure, and now I read every day. But when I was a child, I didn't, and so I don't have strong memories of it up until I read Harry Potter, as I mentioned before. Question number 10. What kind of books do you like to read? Well, I read both fiction and non-fiction books. A few years ago I read a lot of non-fiction, and nowadays I read mostly fiction. I read adult books, YA, middle grade, and some children's books. I think that my favorite are adult and middle grade books. And then for genres, I went through my list of the books that I want to read in 2023, and I've seen that most books are fantasy. There are many science fiction books, there are some contemporary literary fiction books, and then there are a few romance, historical fiction, and thrillers. And yeah, that's it. I would say that I don't read as much poetry and also horror because I'm a scaredy cat and I try to stay away from scary things. So I wouldn't say no to a non-scary horror book, but if it's scary, then I stay away from it. So I was going to end this video here with my 10th question, but I've seen that some creators have an 11th question on their Booktube Newbie Tag question list. So I am going to answer to that question. Question number 11. What does your book collection look like? Well, if I compare myself to most people on the internet, then I don't own a lot of books. I have decided to be strict about book buying, and I am only going to buy books that I love, that I want to reread, and yeah, that I want to own. I don't have a lot of space in my house, and even if I did, I think that I want to be mindful about my spending and about buying material things. So I buy books that are 5 stars for me, or maybe some 4 stars that I really love for some reason. And yeah, so I own a few books, and I am going to grow my collection as I read more favorites. So that was the Booktube Newbie Tag, and this is the end of my first video. Thank you for watching the beginning of my YouTube journey, and I hope to see you again in future videos. Before I say goodbye, please comment down below one of your favorite books so that I can add more books to my TBR. Thank you again, and see you next time. Bye!